40 creepiest abandoned places. Have you ever imagined walking through places where time has completely stopped? For decades, humans have built incredible structures, thriving cities, and bustling communities. But sometimes these places get abandoned so suddenly and completely that they become frozen in time. And some become so terrifying that no one dares to enter them again. But with human progress and expansion come unexpected disasters, mysterious disappearances, and sometimes decisions so devastating that entire populations flee overnight. Whether these places were abandoned due to nuclear disasters, natural catastrophes, or something far more sinister, each one tells a chilling story of what happens when humans are forced to leave everything behind. Join us as we reveal the 40 creepiest abandoned places that remain so haunting, so dangerous, or so psychologically disturbing that even the bravest explorers think twice before stepping foot inside. Number 1. The Demon Core Laboratory. What if I told you there's an abandoned laboratory where scientists accidentally created one of the most terrifying objects in human history? It's called the Los Alamos Laboratories Building 2, where the infamous Demon Core was housed. Back in 1945, this 6.2-kilogram plutonium sphere killed 2 scientists in separate criticality accidents, earning its terrifying nickname. The lab was abandoned after the second incident when physicist Louis Slotin died from massive radiation exposure. In fact, the core reached temperatures of over 1,000 degrees Celsius during the accidents and emitted lethal doses of radiation equivalent to being at ground zero of the Hiroshima bombing. The building spans 12,000 square meters and contained equipment worth millions of dollars, making it one of the most expensive abandoned sites in the world. For the hundreds of people who worked there, the fear became so overwhelming that many refused to return even after decontamination efforts. You can see the original lead line chambers and radiation detection equipment still scattered throughout the facility, creating an atmosphere that feels like stepping into a nuclear nightmare. Number 2. Poveglia Island's Plague Quarantine. How in the world did an entire island become so cursed that locals refuse to set foot on it even today? It's called Poveglia Island, located just off the coast of Venice, Italy. Back in 1348, this 17-acre island was converted into a quarantine station during the Black Death, where over 160,000 plague victims were burned alive or died in agony. The island contains an estimated 50% human ash in its soil composition, with bones and skulls washing up on beaches after every storm. It's 2 kilometers from mainland Venice and houses a 1922 mental hospital where a sadistic doctor allegedly performed gruesome experiments on patients. In fact, the bell tower still stands 30 meters tall, though it's said to ring on its own from the souls of the tormented. For the few archaeologists who have studied the island, metal detectors go crazy from all the human remains buried just centimeters below the surface. Look at this place from above, and you can see the dark patches in the soil where thousands of bodies were cremated. It's like looking at a map of human suffering. Would you dare spend a night on an island made literally from the bones of plague victims? Number 3. Chernobyl's Ferris Wheel of Death. What's this bright yellow children's ride doing in the middle of the world's most radioactive ghost town? It's called the Pripyat Amusement Park, scheduled to open on May 1st, 1986, just days after the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Back in 1986, this 26-meter-tall Ferris wheel was tested once before the city's 49,000 residents were evacuated forever. The park covers 15 hectares and was designed to accommodate 10,000 visitors daily. In fact, radiation levels around the wheel still measure 10-15 microsieverts per hour. That's 50 times higher than normal background radiation. The entire amusement park area is contaminated with cesium-137 and strontium-90, which will remain dangerous for hundreds of years. For the liquidators who cleaned up after the disaster, the amusement park became a haunting reminder of childhood innocence destroyed by invisible death. Look at this wheel standing perfectly preserved against the abandoned city skyline. It's like a monument to atomic fear, frozen in time. Can you imagine children playing here while a nuclear reactor melted down just 3 kilometers away? Number 4. Centralia's Underground Inferno. How in the world has a town been burning continuously underground for over 60 years with no way to stop it? It's called Centralia, Pennsylvania, where a coal mine fire has been burning beneath the town since 1962. The fire started at the town dump and spread through underground coal seams covering 1,500 hectares, reaching temperatures of 540 degrees Celsius and producing deadly carbon monoxide gas. The town's population dropped from 2,161 residents in 1980 to just 5 people today, as the government relocated families and demolished over 1,000 homes. In fact, the fire consumes an estimated 25 tons of coal daily and could continue burning for another 250 years. Ground temperatures reach 80 degrees Celsius in some areas, hot enough to kill vegetation and create toxic gas emissions. For the few residents who refuse to leave, living above an underground inferno means never knowing when the ground beneath their feet might collapse or fill with deadly gases. You can see steam rising from cracks in the earth, dead trees scattered across the landscape, and sections of Highway 61 buckled and abandoned due to underground heating. The entire town sits on what's essentially a slow-motion volcanic eruption that humans created and can never extinguish. Number 5. Kolmanskop's Diamond Desert Ghost Town. What if I told you there's an entire German town buried in African desert sand, where diamonds were once more common than rocks? It's called Kolmanskop in Namibia's Namib Desert. Back in 1908, railway worker Zacharias Lewala found a diamond while clearing sand from the tracks, triggering a diamond rush that built this German colonial town in the middle of nowhere. The town housed 1,200 residents at its peak and produced 11.7% of the world's diamonds between 1908 and 1930. The settlement covers 4 square kilometers and contained a hospital, ballroom, power station, school, and even an ice factory. In fact, residents consumed 40,000 liters of water daily, all shipped in by train across 800 kilometers of desert. When larger diamond deposits were discovered elsewhere, the entire population abandoned Kolmanskop in 1954. For the few tourists who visit today, walking through houses filled with sand up to the ceiling feels surreal, like discovering an ancient civilization. You can see perfectly preserved bathtubs, pianos, and furniture slowly being consumed by the advancing dunes. The Namib Desert reclaims 2 to 3 meters of the town each year, making it a race against time to see this diamond kingdom before it disappears forever. If you're enjoying these incredible places, make sure to subscribe for more amazing discoveries like this. Number 6. Gunkanjima's Concrete Island Prison. What's this concrete fortress doing in the middle of the ocean, packed with 5,159 people on an island smaller than 13 football fields? It's called Hashima Island, nicknamed Gunkanjima or Battleship Island for its ship-like silhouette off the coast of Japan. Built in 1887 as a coal mining facility, this artificial island measures just 480 meters long and 150 meters wide, but contained Japan's highest population density at 83,600 people per square kilometer. The island featured 30 concrete apartment buildings rising up to 9 stories high, along with schools, hospitals, temples, and even a cinema for the mining families. In fact, residents lived in 3,600 apartments, averaging just 10 square meters each. When petroleum replaced coal in 1974, all 5,259 residents were evacuated within months, leaving behind a perfectly preserved concrete city. With a few tourists allowed to visit today, the island appears like a post-apocalyptic fortress rising from the Pacific Ocean. Look at the massive sea walls designed to withstand 20-meter typhoon waves, and apartment buildings so tightly packed that residents could reach between windows to shake hands with neighbors. Living here meant never seeing green space or natural earth, just concrete, ocean, and the constant danger of mine explosions 600 meters below the seafloor. Number 7. Six Flags Jazzland's Katrina Wasteland. Have you ever imagined an amusement park so thoroughly destroyed that alligators now swim in the log flume? It's called Six Flags New Orleans, abandoned since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. This 140-acre theme park in eastern New Orleans was submerged under 2 to 4 meters of floodwater for over a month, destroying every ride, building, and electrical system beyond repair. The park originally featured 39 rides, including a 100-meter tall roller coaster called Batman the Ride, and attractions designed for 15,000 daily visitors. In fact, salt water and sewage contamination made the cleanup so expensive that Six Flags abandoned their $130 million investment rather than rebuild. The park became a 140-acre toxic wasteland where wild animals, including alligators, have taken over water rides and attractions. For the few urban explorers who venture inside, the park looks like a theme park from a zombie apocalypse movie. You can see roller coaster tracks twisted into impossible shapes, cartoon characters faded and peeling from exposure, and waterways filled with brackish swamp water instead of manufactured fun. The contrast between abandoned children's entertainment and post-hurricane devastation creates one of America's most surreal disaster landscapes. Number 8. Oradour-sur-Glan's Preserved Massacre. What if I told you there's an entire French village left exactly as it was the day 642 residents were murdered by Nazi soldiers? It's called Oradour-sur-Glane in central France, where on June 10, 1944, SS soldiers locked villagers in buildings and set them on fire, killing 642 men, women, and children in a single afternoon. The village contained 254 buildings, including homes, shops, schools, and a church where 247 women and 250 105 children were burned alive. French President Charles de Gaulle ordered the village preserved exactly as the Nazis left it, creating a 175-hectare memorial to wartime atrocity. In fact, you can still see melted bicycles, burned cars, bullet holes in walls, and the sewing machine belonging to the village seamstress, all preserved for 80 years as evidence of the massacre. For the 300,000 annual visitors, walking through Oradour-sur-Glane feels like stepping into the moment when evil destroyed innocence. Look at children's toys scattered in burned homes, clocks stopped at the moment of attack, and streets where grass grows between cobblestones that once echoed with normal village life. The French government maintains this village as a permanent reminder that civilization can disappear in a single afternoon of human cruelty. Number 9. Body's Wild West Ghost Town. How in the world did California's most lawless gold rush town become one of America's best-preserved ghost towns? It's called Body, California, where gold discoveries in 1859 created a boomtown of 10,000 residents by 1880. This Wild West settlement sat at 2,154 meters elevation in the Sierra Nevada mountains and gained a reputation as one of the most violent and lawless towns in America, with murders, robberies, and gunfights occurring daily on Main Street. The town contained 2,000 buildings, including 65 saloons, numerous brothels, gambling halls, and opium dens, serving miners who extracted over $100 million worth of gold. In fact, Body's murder rate was so high that newspapers in other cities ran headlines reading, "Goodbye God, I'm going to Body," when people moved there. When the gold ran out in 1942, residents abandoned the town so quickly that dishes were left on tables and stores remained fully stocked. For visitors today, Body appears frozen in 1880s authenticity, with 200 buildings still standing in what's called arrested decay. You can see the Standard Mill with its 30-stamp ore crusher, schoolhouse with lessons still written on chalkboards, and homes with period furniture arranged exactly as families left them. The dry mountain climate preserved everything so perfectly that walking through Body feels like time travel to America's most notorious gold rush era. Number 10. Pripyat School's radioactive lessons. What's this abandoned classroom doing with children's gas masks scattered on the floor and radiation levels that could kill you? It's called School Number 3 in Pripyat, Ukraine, evacuated during the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in 1986. This 3-story educational facility served 1,200 students from kindergarten through 10th grade and was located just 3 kilometers from the exploding nuclear reactor. The school contained 60 classrooms, a gymnasium, cafeteria, and library serving the children of nuclear power plant workers. In fact, when the evacuation order came, teachers and students left so quickly that books remained open on desks, lessons stayed written on chalkboards, and children's artwork still decorated classroom walls. Radiation levels in some areas of the school measure 15–20 microsieverts per hour, enough to cause radiation sickness with prolonged exposure. For the few researchers allowed into the Chernobyl exclusion zone, this school represents childhood innocence destroyed by atomic catastrophe. Look at the small gas masks designed for children's faces scattered across floors, dolls and toys abandoned in playrooms, and educational posters about nuclear safety that became tragically ironic. The contrast between normal school life and radioactive contamination makes this one of the most emotionally devastating abandoned sites in the world. Which of these places surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button. Number 11. Michigan Central Station's Automotive Cathedral. What if I told you there's a train station so magnificent that it became the symbol of Detroit's rise and fall, abandoned for 30 years? It's called Michigan Central Station in Detroit, built in 1913 as the tallest railway station in the world. This 18-story Beaux-Arts masterpiece rises 230 feet high and spans an entire city block, designed to handle 200 trains daily serving 4,000 passengers at the height of America's railroad era. The station contained a 3,200 square meter waiting room with 15-meter vaulted ceilings, marble floors, and bronze fixtures that cost $15 million to build, equivalent to $380 million today. In fact, the building featured 500 offices, restaurants, barbershops, and even a jail for unruly passengers. When automobile travel replaced trains, passenger service ended in 1988, leaving this architectural monument abandoned in downtown Detroit for 30 years. For urban explorers who risked entering the building, Michigan Central Station became a cathedral of American industrial decline. Look at the massive arched windows, broken like dead eyes, the grand staircase leading to offices filled with debris, and graffiti covering walls that once welcomed travelers from across the continent. Ford Motor Company finally purchased and restored the building in 2018. pristine, but for 3 decades it stood as a monument to Detroit's abandoned automotive dreams. Number 12. Varosha's Forbidden Resort Paradise. How in the world did Cyprus's most luxurious beach resort become a ghost town sealed off by barbed wire for 50 years? It's called Varosha in Famagusta, northern Cyprus. Abandoned since the Turkish invasion of Cyprus in 1974, this Mediterranean resort district contained 39,000 residents and welcomed 20,000 tourists daily to its 6-kilometer stretch of pristine beaches lined with luxury hotels, restaurants, and nightclubs. The area featured 80 hotels, including the 19-story King George Hotel, dozens of restaurants, and shopping districts that catered to wealthy European tourists. In fact, when Turkish forces invaded, all 39,000 Greek Cypriot residents fled within hours, leaving behind a fully functioning modern city. The Turkish military sealed Varosha with barbed wire and declared it a military zone where entry is punishable by imprisonment. For the few journalists granted access over the decades, Varosha appears like a 1970s time capsule slowly being consumed by Mediterranean vegetation. You can see luxury cars from 1974 rusting in hotel parking lots, restaurants with tables still set for meals that were never served, and high-rise hotels with balconies overlooking beaches where no tourists have walked for half a century. The contrast between pristine beaches and forbidden ghost city creates one of the world's most surreal Cold War landscapes. From radioactive playgrounds to diamond ghost towns buried in sand, these 12 locations represent humanity's most haunting abandoned legacy. Each place tells a story of dreams interrupted, disasters that changed everything, and the unstoppable forces that eventually reclaim everything we build. What makes these places truly creepy isn't just their abandonment, it's how quickly normal life can be interrupted forever. Whether by nuclear catastrophe, natural disaster, or human conflict, these locations remind us that civilization can disappear overnight, leaving behind only echoes of the lives once lived there. These are just 12 of the 40 creepiest abandoned places on Earth. Which location would you be brave enough to explore? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want to see the remaining 28 terrifying locations, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for part 2 of this series. Thanks for watching. And remember, some places are abandoned for very good reasons. Don't forget to check out our videos on the world's most dangerous tourist destinations and mysterious places that science can't explain.